right, so we are live with Mr. Geno Stampora. I'm just going to check my Facebook, make sure it's actually there. Let's see. Yes, it looks like, yep, we're live. All right. So hi, Geno.
How
Everybody's
are you?
excited that I am great. Everybody's excited that you're here today.
Well, I'm excited to be here and thank you all for taking the time to get on with us on this beautiful Friday morning.
All right, we have a lot to talk about today. So obviously we're going to talk about salontraining.com, because that is something that's super excited about that is opening September 12th. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then Geno is kind enough to work with us today, talk to you guys all about tips for beauty success in the industry, which I think a lot of us need it right now, right?
I agree, Tracy. And you know what? I'm looking forward to getting some really great, to the point, poignant for the times right now programs to you for salon training. So I'm excited. What a great resource.
Okay, so I'm excited that you're going to be on there again. So for those of you that are just joining that really don't understand what salontraining.com is, because our site is not up yet, it started during the pandemic and it was only live education with trainers through Zoom. And what we realized shortly after doing it, people do need to see the recordings. People do want to see this so they can view it later, take a class later. And so what we did is we paused the whole system. We had it up for about 7 months. And then we said, you know what, we need to do better for the industry. So what we created is a platform for the beauty industry that will show in-person classes. You'll be able to type in your zip code, your area, the state, whatever, to see what's going on in your area. And then also live virtual. So you can jump on with an educator, which I still think is the most, I think in person, and in Geno, I'm sure you believe this too, in person or live with a trainer in real time is definitely, I think, one of the best, because then you can ask
Priceless.
questions.
Yes,
Like
I
people will be
agree.
able to ask questions today just in the chat if they, need to too. So, and then there'll also be pre-recorded videos that you can go in and you can search by, say, haircutting, business, accounting, and you'll be able to see those pre-recorded videos though too, so you can look back and show your team. The other things that we have on here now is job listings. I know that has been the #1 concern for every industry that I've talked to and interviewed lately, is they are looking for, where did all these people go? We need to hire. Are you finding that too, Geno?
Oh, absolutely. All over the country. It's the top challenge that I get when I do in salon seminars. It's just the biggest thing right now. And you know what's funny, Tracy? It's not just our industry. It's basically all over the world. And I don't know if I shared with you the story about my friend that was looking for an assistant, and he hired an assistant, and he called me and he said, she knows you and she thinks you're like God. Would you come and meet her? And I said, yeah, I'll come on Wednesday morning. Well, he called me on Tuesday. He said, don't bother coming. It seems she went to McDonald's for lunch and they offered her a $500 bonus and $20 an hour to work the window. So she quit the salon and went to work at McDonald's.
Oh
So
my.
we've got, and I'll tell you, not to get too into things too fast, but we're really going to talk at Mentor and Masters, and I'll talk more about that in regard to where to hire, how to keep people, how to keep your staff happy, and how to keep people wanting to stay with you, and how to understand the importance of that team and developing team spirit and keeping things moving along, keep that creativity alive.
That's great. I'm going to Mentors and Masters, so I'm glad that we're going to bring that up again. I think it's such a great thing that you guys are going to do, and I think this is going to be the best year you guys ever had, listening
Oh,
to
I
what you
agree.
guys have programmed this year. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
so for the salons and spas that are hiring out there, salontraining.com will be a place that people can go and search for jobs. They can type in, again, area code, zip code, state, whatever. They can search it if they're looking for it to be an apprentice, or if they're looking to be a shampoo tech or front end, all kind of stuff, managers. And then we were giving 3 months free for any salon that's out there that's looking to hire. You'll be able to go to our website. You'll punch in you'll put in your salon name. You can put in a video of your salon. You can talk to them and say, hey, we really are looking to hire, and this is why, blah, 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 or whatever you want to put in there. Free job listings for 3 months.
I think that's going to be beautiful, Tracy, especially since we've developed now a great student following. And whenever I'm at beauty schools, which is a lot, the first thing I tell the students is know who your resources are. And I always talk about Salon Training Inc. and say that's a tremendous resource, not only for knowledge and education, but it's been difficult through COVID. We've kind of lost the concept of community. And what you've done with Salon Training is really created a nice community where we can collaborate and talk about, what is it that we need and how do we get from where we are to where we want to be.
Sure. Well, thank you. Yes, that's what we want to be. So I'm glad that you said that it is a community, because sometimes that you're right, it gets lost. It's like, oh, here's my salon, come work here. Here's your pay. See you later. It has to be more. Has to be more. So,
Yeah.
yes, you can jump on September 12th. We're going to have the website will be live. It is a soft opening so that people can come on and start listing their items. We do have some people on there now. Of course, the trainers that we love and build the community the first time around are already on there. And then there's all kinds of other things. There's going to be product companies. If you want to type in, salon gear, if you want to type in, hydraulic chairs or whatever, there's all different companies that are coming on. And then there's going to be contests. We're really excited about that. There's two different things. We'll be doing our first one, a color contest, so that professionals can go and upload their before and after photos, and then also cosmetology schools. So if you're listening and you're a student, we will not compete you. You're not going to be in competition with someone that's been doing hair for 30 years. You are going to be in competition with other schools all around the world to show your beautiful work. And so it's going to be great. I can't wait till September 12th. So you can log on here, join us on Facebook on the 12th, and we'll show you all the other stuff. But I don't want to take up the whole day about salon trading. Everybody's here to see Geno, and I'm so excited. So can we jump into that, Geno?
Fantastic.
All right. So what are the tips of beauty success that we need to know right now in this day and age?
You know what, Tracey, it really is a crazy time. And like you were talking about the idea of hiring, and I think it's very different now what a salon owner has to look like and what a salon owner has to do and how they have to act and how they have to lead. I think that is so important. But I guess some of the tips really haven't changed. And I think that the first thing is that we've got an industry where it's kind of like you said. I remember when I had my first salon, and I thought my salon, those four walls, that was the beauty industry to me. And I never thought about breaking out and seeing like what my neighbors were doing, what other salons were doing, what types of education were out there. I mean, there's times when if you're not careful, you think you know it all. And all of a sudden you stop learning and growing and expanding and getting outside that comfort zone. And I think now more than ever, it's probably, well, it really is. It's the hardest time ever to do business, whether you're an individual, whether you're a trainee, whether you're a salon owner, whether you're a stylist, whether you're in a booth or in a suite or in a big salon. I think it's so important today. My first tip would be, if you're going to do it right. Learn what you don't know, and then figure out what you need to do to learn what it is that you don't know, so that you can be not only the most profitable, but the most productive at doing what you do. I think that that's just major, because every time I'm in a break room, I'll hear people talk about, I need more money, or I wish I could make more. How do I raise my prices? What am I going to do? And it's really so easy to be profitable in beauty as long as you're careful and you really pay attention and do it right.
Can I jump in there for a second on that?
Certainly.
I think sometimes people also get stuck in comfort zones. They're like, well, we didn't do it like that before. And they just won't change. Do you agree to that? Like, they just like, well, we didn't do it that particular way, so I don't know, or we tried it once and it didn't work. I think the most important thing too is just start. I had no idea how to create a website. I just had the idea. I thought everybody would be cool together for education. I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. And well, you learn and you learn and you learn and you keep going and just start.
I'll tell you, it's funny, Tracey, because I look all the way back to when you and I were talking on the phone, and you really, you basically knew nothing and you had nothing and you were putting your salon together. And I remember when you called me and said, I want you to mentor me, work with me. And I said, oh, Tracey, I'm way too expensive for you. And you said, I've saved my money. and I want to come and meet with you and I want to spend some time together. And you know what? You're a perfect example, outstanding representation of a beauty professional who gets outside their comfort zone. When you talk about this is the way we've always done it, you know, the hardest thing to explain to people right now is it isn't just that the industry has changed, the world has changed. I just had my daughter and son-in-law and my grandchildren here for a couple of days, and I sat with my daughter and son-in-law, and they were talking about the challenges at school. And I said, look, the world has changed. Everything has changed. So if you're not keeping up, you're actually falling behind. And if you're not changing with the world, then you're really going backwards. So you have to look at the fact that with everything changing, we need to add knowledge all the time. Like, what's the next best thing to learn? What is it that's missing in my repertoire? What do I need to do to get better at selling retail, get better at selling myself, get better at getting customers to understand that I'm of value, that I'm worth the money? You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Killer. And then I always, which I always talk about, I believe, you know what, honestly, in our industry, most of you that are on that know me, you know that I was never a great hairdresser, and I've never said I was. And if ever you've seen my work in the magazines, it's never hair. It's always about how to do hair, or how to do business, or how to sell yourself, or how to understand dialogue. Even though I was never a great hairdresser, I was the most booked, busiest guy in Washington, D.C. And I believe it was all because I'm just a nice guy. So I think it's important that even if you're not nice, it's costing you money. And one of the things I share with people on live audiences all over the world is this: how much is it costing you to think like you think? And what would it take for you to try thinking differently? You know, that old saying by Albert Einstein is that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And the fact of the matter is that we tend to do that with our lives and our businesses all the time, when the true reality, and please remember that reality is seeing things as they are and not the way you'd like them to be. When you look at true reality, it means you need to be changing and growing and filling that gap all the time, looking at what's missing and what am I going to do to be better. So in regard to your question about what are some of the tips, if I say the tip is do it right, well, there's a whole add-on that comes with doing it right. First of all, you've got to begin to dress for success. And I tell people all the time, all that means is just dress up to the kind of money you'd like to make. Don't dress up to the money you're making. Dress up to the kind of money you'd like to make. And then change your dialogue. Use the words of a master. Use the words that a true professional would use. And be careful what you share with your guests. Don't get into COVID and politics and religion and all that crap that we've talked about. But that's now more than ever. Don't even get into that, because no one's going to win. Try to only communicate beauty, because that's what you're prepared to win in. Make sense?
Absolutely. I've heard you so many times throughout my life, and the very first time I heard you, and we've been talking about this lately, is at a Seven Springs hair show in Western Pennsylvania. I was in 10th grade, I believe. It was 10th or 11th grade at the very first time. I remember my teacher, Mrs. George, said, you have to go see this Geno. As she told all of us on the bus and reminded us, make sure you get to his room. Make sure you get to his room. And I've told every one of my team members that I've hired through the years, when you go to the show, make sure you get to his room. And I still take notes every time that I listen to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's very astute of you, because you should, you know, you were talking about on salon training that people are going to be able to go back on recordings. A lot of you know that one of my favorite speakers and a very dear friend up until when he died, my friend Jim Rowan, I still listen to Jim Rowan audio cassettes from 25 years ago. And I still hear things that just fit now, that never really fit before. So it's important sometimes to look back on notes and re-look at things. And if you have a chance to watch this video, watch it over and over again and look for the time when you feel I'm really talking directly to you. And that's where you're really going to absorb the most and learn the most. And I do the same thing, Tracey. I take notes all the time. As a matter of fact, not to get deep into it, but I just became an ordained minister, and I'm going to do a couple of weddings. Oh, it was just, well, it's been fun. My nephew asked me if I would marry him. So I went and got the whole thing done. And when I talk about mentor and masters, I'll talk about my friend John Palmieri, who is also an ordained minister. So I'm looking for something where I want to be a unique officiant. I want to be special. And it just so happened that the other night I'm watching on Amazon Prime The Last Movie Stars. And it was about Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Well, it just so happened that it got to a part where they talked about when they renewed their vows, and they shared with their daughter when she was getting married what the important things about a relationship is. And I watched it over and over and wrote down every word, got on my computer, typed it up, and that's what I'm going to use at the wedding. Something unique, individual, perfect, different, not a we are gathered here today. I mean, I think everybody's kind of tired of that. We have to look into what's special. By the way, speaking of what's special, and I don't want to forget, most of you, and I know Tracey, I collaborate with Nikki Lee and Iva Sampler on a lot of events, a lot of programs, and we share the stage a lot of times. We have an incredible program called Mentor and Masters, November 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's available for everyone. And this year's the first year, and I know, Tracey, you're coming. This is the first year, I don't want to get this wrong, that we've got some incredible guest speakers. John Palmieri from Salon 124, and he's also got a podcast, incredible, and gave me the greatest advice on being a minister. We have Sally Honesty from New Jersey, has a phenomenal salon. Cole Thompson, who's one of the greatest hair cutters I have ever seen, ever worked with. Patty Mead, who's going to work with Sally. And I've known Patty since she was a kid, been to her salons many times, and she's got so much direct information to share. We have Chris Salome from Salon 124, John's partner. And then lastly, we have Jen LeBlanc coming, and she's the girl that talks about having the deskless salon. Then, of course, there's Nikki Lee, Iva Sampler, and myself. So it's the greatest combination. November 5th, 6th, and 7th.
I don't think it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's only 2 days for you. I know you have to be there 3 days, but for the audience, it's 2 days.
Yeah. It's right? The 6th and 7th, right?
6th and 7th, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I get confused because, well, if you come on the 5th, we have a nice party on Saturday night, so we can have some drinks and spend a little time together. But I hope I'll see you there. You can actually go on Salon Training and find the link, or you can go on Sampler, SAMPILLER @gmail.com and just email Iva, and she'll tell you what you need to do to get involved. So with that said, and I don't want to waste time, but I want to give some great tips and some great ideas. If you're not leading yourself, you can't lead others. So it's very important today to make sure that you're leading yourself. One of the things I tell people all the time is that self-confidence is the product of knowledge. So it's important to kind of make a list, evaluate, work backwards, and ask yourself, what am I not confident in? Whatever you're not confident in, it's telling you that you need knowledge in that aspect. So if you're not confident in selling retail, you need retail selling knowledge. If you're not confident in selling yourself, you need selling yourself knowledge. And that's how you evaluate and build up. How can I be better tomorrow than I was today? Okay. Another great tip, I was talking about the importance of dressing up to the kind of money you'd like to make, using the best possible dialogue that you can use. Also, be careful today when you're with a guest. Bond yourself to the guest. Make it a memorable experience. One of the things that I've shared for years and years and years is when I did your hair, my main goal was to be your dinner story. I wanted you to go home and talk about
Something
it.
went wrong. And please try again.
Siri's talking to me on my phone. I must have said her name. Cancel, Siri. It's so funny because I have over here my iPhone and Siri. I have over here my Echo and ALEXA A is
Yeah.
on there. Well, I just did a Zoom and the salon owner's name was Alexa. And every time I said her name, this one started talking to me about what is it I can do for you. So these are my new friends. It's kind of hysterical that all of my friends are becoming electronic. So are there any questions or anything in the chat box, Tracy, that anybody wants to share, talk about?
You know what? I should be watching that more. And I'm always so like tuned into what you have to say that I haven't been watching that as well as I should. Just
Well, I would go to it, but if I do, I sometimes can't get back to my screen. So I'm not gonna, but I
Yeah.
just want to.
Are you still there?
Mhm.
Okay. I thought I lost you too.
Nope, I'm
Okay.
right here.
Yes, we have some comments and I can't get to them either right now at the moment. Okay. Hey, well, can I recap real quick before I get into that?
Certainly.
I can. Oh, there they are. Okay. So your first tip of the day was for sure is just do it right. And if you don't know
Yeah.
how to do it right, just learn from other people on what they did right and start doing that. Dress for the money that you want to make. Lead yourself with self-confidence and be better than you were before, right? Just
Right.
okay. So
Right.
Donna Hogg's on there. She said, hello. Hey, if anybody
Uh,
has any questions, go ahead and put it in here.
Hi, Donna. I love you. I can't wait to see you. I hope you're doing well, getting better. You're always in my thoughts and prayers.
We're going to be doing an interview with Donna real soon too. Her
Oh,
interview.
how
is-
wonderful. She's
Yes.
terrific. Talk
Yeah,
about
she-
a wealth of knowledge.
Yes, she is. Okay. So there's not necessarily any questions, but there's a lot of love.
Well, you gotta like that.
That's
You know,
right.
I'm an old Beatles freak. I talk about sometimes I have downstairs a Fender Stratocaster on the wall in my family room signed by John Lennon. And I've been to Liverpool. And you know, the funniest thing about the Beatles is all you really need is love. And right now, I would say that if there were, and this is really a great way for us to kind of put a finale on today, there's two things I would focus on like I've never focused on before. Number one is you've got to have the love. You've got to put your heart into your business. You've got to fall in love with your customer. You've got to fall in love with your product. You've got to fall in love with our industry. We have the greatest industry in all the world. Now, if you think your industry is the four walls of the salon or school that you're in, get out of it. Break out and see that there's a whole world of industry, community, great people out there willing to share and give and show what it is that they've learned. So first of all, put your heart in. Put your heart in everything you do, and then do it to the best of your ability. Remember one thing, your heart will never steer you wrong. Your heart will never lie to you. And the next thing is passion. You've got to have passion for beauty. You got to have passion for taking care of people. You have to have passion for cutting hair. You have to have passion for knowing that in your hands and in your eyes, you hold the ability to give someone the added confidence of knowing they look their best. And that makes a world of difference. You see, I believe you can lock in on a customer if you really show the customer heart and passion. I think they'll stay with you even if you do bad work. I used to have people come back to me and say, I like you. Can you just get this right? And I'd say, well, I'll try. Just stay still. You know, maybe you moved around too much, or maybe you had your legs crossed. You know, that can throw me off. Try to get them to understand, you know. But the reality is that if you can just put love back into it, real love, and if you can just develop, I believe today, passion is the leading competitive edge in salons and beauty professionals, that those that are passionate really have that leading competitive edge. And in today's world, you need to have that. Now, I was talking about that guitar signed by John Lennon, and I want to share with all of you. That guitar was given to me by a friend of mine who I helped when he was having the hardest time. And I offered myself to him lock, stock, and barrel. And he had no money. He couldn't afford to pay. He just needed some help. And I helped to guide him to a place he'd never seen or been before. As a matter of fact, I helped him to believe in the fact. You see, if you have belief, great things can happen. but you have to believe that you can be successful, you can be rich, you can be happy. I mean, all those things are actually learnable. They're all learnable skills. Well, in the end, he became a major success. And a year later, he came to me and said, I bought you a present. And the present was, when I opened it, a Stratocaster electric guitar signed by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And I flipped out. I started crying. I said, oh my God. He said, oh, no, 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 no. This is the least I can do, because you'll never know what you did for me. You'll never know what it meant to me. So I think in today's world, people are lonely. People are selfish. People have spent a lot of time at home. They really need us. They really need us as their friend, as their hairdresser, as their beauty professional. They need us now more than ever. Now, I'm not saying to suck them dry, but if they really need us that bad right now, then get the money. Make sure you get your fee. Make sure you get what you're due. Make sure you let them know that you're more than worth it. Please never forget one thing. Value is the difference between what they get and what they expect. So if you want to make sure you're really providing value, it's the difference between what the customer gets and what they expected to get. So you've got to learn how, on a consistent basis, every day, all the time, how do we exceed the customer's expectations? How do we take them to a place they've actually never been before? If you can do all those things, I guarantee success. I guarantee you, you will be successful, you'll be happy, and most importantly, you'll be fulfilled. You'll know in your heart. I can tell you that my life in beauty drastically changed because of one day, one phone call with one friend. And my friend said to me, you know the greatest thing about you? You never talk about anyone. You never have a bad word to say. And I would always say back, you know what? There's three sides to every story. I don't know that I ever really believe the truth, because you never know what the truth really is. So I just like to like people. I don't want to put down anybody. I want to give everybody the opportunity to be the best that they could be, because I think a lot of people forget. You know what? If you're listening to this program, I am so grateful that you've taken 20, 30, 40 minutes to be with Tracey and I, because minutes are the fabric of your life. And you're probably so busy, you forgot that your life is flying by. And I'm going to tell you, your life is flying by. Time flies. Time just doesn't fly when you're having a good time. Time flies whether you're having a good time or not. So you've got to make the most of the moment, make the most of the day. And the next thing my friend said was, I want you to develop the habit of giving 100% to everything you do. And I said, from that phone call forward, I would never give less than 100%. And I'll tell you, that's a great discipline, Tracey, to learn how to develop the habit of giving 100% to everything you do. And if you can't give 100%, then don't do it, because it's just going to frustrate you when it doesn't turn out right. So why add frustration to our crazy lives? Why not try to make your life run as smooth and as easy as you can? You know, we are beauty professionals. This is the greatest industry that ever existed. We have the opportunity of a lifetime. What I'm going to suggest to you is, if you're not selling enough product, then start selling more. What do you need? All you need to do is ask more people. And if you ask more people, you will. If you're not getting enough of customers, then what are you willing to do to change that? Go out and get more customers. Go out and sell yourself to everyone. Go out and talk to people. When you go to church, look at that they could be your clientele. When you go to a meeting, they could be your clientele. And just keep in the forefront of your mind, beauty marketing is a 365-day a year, 24-hour a day, 7-day a week campaign. I market beauty constantly. So I'll close today with a wonderful story. My dear friend, Frank Gambusa. Some of you are familiar with Frank. Frank is the owner, along with his wife, Belinda, of a wonderful company called Salon and Spa Visage in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Knoxville, but to build an award-winning company in Knoxville is a lot harder than it sounds because you're in Knoxville, Tennessee. So it's not like being in New York City. Now, Frank was also the president of Interco Fuhr. And I was having a conversation with Frank one time when he came to visit me at my house. And I said, Frank, all of my neighbors use professional products. He said, oh, come on, you're lying. How do you know? I said, what do you mean, how do I know? Of course I know. It's my job to know. I said, all of my neighbors use professional products. He said, well, how can you be so sure? I said, because I give my neighbors professional products whenever I see them. And he said, really? I said, well, do your neighbors ever invite you over to dinner? He said, yeah, of course. I said, what do you bring? He goes, well, I bring a couple bottles of wine. I said, well, that's nice, Frank, but are you a wine merchant or are you a hairdresser? He said, well, I'm a hairdresser. I said, well, then why bring wine? Odds are if they're having you to dinner, they'll have wine. Why not bring hair products? How many times have you gone to somebody's house and gone into their bathroom and lock that door and move the curtain and look in the shower and you want to come out and say, no wonder why you look so terrible. Look at the crap you're using on your hair. So that's a part of selling beauty. Whenever you go to somebody's house, bring them a 32-ounce professional bottle of shampoo with a pump and set them up to look their best. And that helps them remember you. That makes you memorable. So one of the things I talk about in my marketing program at Mentor and Masters on November 6th is the fact that you must be memorable. And a lot of people are memorable, but it's for all the wrong things. You have to learn how to be memorable for all the right things. How can you be memorable for all the right things? You've got the opportunity of a lifetime just before you. What are you going to do to make those changes and really make yourself be something and be somebody and leave a legacy and have success and forget about money? Because you know what? When you give 100%, when you do things right, the money will follow. I never have to worry about business. I'm always too busy. It's because I do a great job. I do a great job every time, all the time. And that's what you have to do. And if you do that, you'll be busier than you ever imagined. And then you develop the opportunity to pick and choose where you'll work, who you'll work with, what you'll do, who you'll do. You know, one of the great old stories in beauty is that we would always give all the weirdos to the new girl or new guy in the salon, you know, to see if they could make it. You know what I mean? And when you got busy enough, you could move away from those weirdos, give them to somebody else. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll participate in the community of Salon Training Inc. You'll see me there. I think it's a great opportunity and I know it needs your support, so please do. And those of you that are looking for the next stepping stone in your career, please join Nikki, Iva, and I, and a cast of incredible characters at Mentor and Masters on November 5th, 6th, and 7th. Well, it's actually on the 6th and 7th, but if you come on the 5th, we can have some drinks together. God bless all of you. Thank you for your time this morning. I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Geno. Thank you, everybody. Please invite your friends and beauty professionals to our Facebook group so that we can keep building and keep having wonderful educators on here for giving free tips of the day.
Great idea, Tracy. You know what, too? You're going to be able to get this recording. Please share this recording with your staff, your coworkers, and your boss. It's great information. Thank you all so much. Tracy, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for the time today.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye, everyone.